This is a special emergency broadcast from the Heartwood Tower Voice. An envoy from Camelot has come here to inform us of an important message for the mainland. Oh, hey! It's my old comrade in arms, Sir Alban. I hadn't seen you since we went and had that delightful dinner with Abbess Meandra.
I remember it well. In the Abbess's chamber, we gathered for the feast. I dined in uneasy silence as my companion and my hostess engaged in learned debate. "You are fools to seek Unger's false wisdom," declared Meandra. "Behold the greatest of powers over death itself!" The monastery at once seemed no longer abandoned, as diabolical clergy shambled from shadowy niches. The mad wizard of Ibiza's eyes yet gleamed red with febrile anticipation. "Care you to test that power against all-consuming flame?" And so it was that I fled the ensuing conflagration with but my own life and these macabre boots of ruin.
Top day out. What brings you to Heartwood? Wait, what's that shaking?
I've always heard that the platforms have never been very stable over here.
No, this is different. It's like the whole world itself is shaking.
Supercrit?
No, like something especially large, cold, and ominous is climbing up the tower.
Oh, the message. I have a message of the utmost importance that brings grave consequences for all beasts of Europe. A scant 3 hours ago, the dreaded great worm Grimfrost erupted from his icy domain in the southwest of our lands. The king's guardsmen were rallied for a hopeless stand against the ravaging reptile, and yet they were spared battle, for Grimfrost cared not to blast our good folk with his icy breath, but instead winged his way far aloft and shot like an arrow towards the continent. None could fathom what had stirred the beast to action, or what singular purpose directed its flight, but its arrival in Europe boded terrible things for our fellow beasts, and so I was bidden to proceed with all haste to warn our friends and allies, stepping through the Trilithon gates twixt Stonehenge and the Great Forest to deliver this unhappy news.
Glory thing.
Well, this is awkward.
I'm taking that. After I shut the noisy frog up for good.
You can't take the glowy thing. It makes the voice work.
The voice in my head is making my teeth hurt. Perhaps it'll hurt less if I chew on someone soft and fat.
Voices in your head?
Don't mind Sir Alban. He claimed the same of me. Though clearly, everyone else is insane and is trying to steal my magic bags.
I see they don't call you the Mad Wizard of Ibiza for nothing.
Ah, my halcyon days of youth on Ibiza, skirting the pounding beats, the twisted streets of the party island. Back when I was but a tad, it had not yet become occupied by Nubian invaders. The worst you had to worry about was the occasional bad sunburn, or the sand between your toes. It may not be apparent by my current status as an upstanding pillar of society that I am, that once I used to dabble in the odd roguelike skills.
What, like pickpocketing?
No, like Overstrike and Stunning Shot. Those particular skills are amazingly helpful to the enterprising mage, being that the two synchronize perfectly, give the ability to temporarily paralyze an opponent at range, and increase wand damage as much as 20%.
Now we know why the mean streets of Ibiza were mean. Lax wand control laws.
Well, in any event, that's where the tale ends. And speaking of tales, when I was young, I had a lovely tail, and now it's gone. What happened to mine? Is there something in the water that makes tails shrink to the size of pathetic dish rags hanging off the back of our belts?
Nothing wrong with short tails? You do realize Anur is Greek for no tail.
You lie!
Silence! Your incessant chatter will be your doom. Oh, nice pauldron, Sir Knight.
Oh, you have a good eye. I picked them up when I was traveling in the West Country some months ago. So came I to be in the company of the Mad Wizard of Ibiza, the avaricious Lord of Sky, and the heart-crowned hero Dumal. Into the bowels of Ironstone plunged the mighty trio, cutting down with flashing blade and fiery bolt, first the icy Ifrit sworn to the dragon's service, and then the great worm itself. And that curious beast was the trove from which I claimed with quaking hands these splendid Grimfrost pauldrons.
Awkward!
I suggest you give those back while you're still alive.
regrettably, bind on pickup.
Oh yeah, you do have half-meter-long teeth made of crystal.
Oh, you probably didn't notice because you were hiding behind stalagmites the entire time.
Well, it's not like I was fighting Vanger. You can see properly.
Oh, so you've had dealings with that upstart, have you?
Oh yeah, sure, he hides real deep in that mine, disguised the fact he can't hit anything beyond flailing arm's reach. What with no depth perception and all. I get behind a table and a stool, and he can't even get into his own tent to fight me. Search me how he even considers himself the current mob kingpin.
This is rich, and my teeth aren't even hurting anymore.
Well, they say laughter is the best medicine, but seriously, they don't? Considering how close you are to the transmitter, they should practically be singing.
The rockin' girl in the bell jar?
Medley.
She says it's fixed.
Ooh, that was rather flash of her. How so?
No longer forked.
How fortunate, since that means you are no longer forked either.
Well, since that's fixed and you're here, I know this wonderful bar 2 platforms down.
Just as long as there's something to eat other than Mountain Brie. That's all I've had for the last 4 months solid.
Solid would be an understatement, I think. That would certainly make someone cranky.
And so, the Wizard of Ibiza and the Great Worm retired to the Heartwood Inn to partake in libations, and in ridicule for their common monocular foe. Which button turns this off? Ah,